Hello, I'm Kathy Gertson. Welcome to Health Watch and our special report on a silent killer, inflammatory breast cancer. It's silent because most women have never heard of it. It's silent because it's rarely detected in a mammogram. And it's silent because you don't have to have a lump. And equally alarming, young women are dying from IBC. Our special reports on IBC began back in May when KOMO 4's Michelle Esteban taught us that there is more than one kind of breast cancer. Michelle?
Kathy, behind me are the faces and names of hundreds of women who have died from IBC. Our hope tonight, one less face, one less name on the memorial wall.
Nancy Key didn't know.
I was furious and at the same time terrified that I was going to die because I didn't know.
What Marilyn Willingham didn't know killed her.
She smiled and took a breath and went to sleep.
And Christine Turk didn't know.
It's going to be a tough fight.
They didn't know there was more than one kind of breast cancer. They didn't know they could get breast cancer without a lump. They didn't know a mammogram rarely detects this kind of breast cancer. They didn't know inflammatory breast cancer, or IBC, is the most aggressive form of breast cancer. They didn't know until they got it.
How can I have something when I go to the doctor every year, I do self-breast exams every month, and what is this? Why am I surprised?
We've all been taught the same thing when it comes to breast cancer: look for a lump. Here's a classic example. This is a breast cancer tumor. That right there is a lump. But when it comes to IBC, forget that. You won't find a lump. In fact, what you'll see is something very similar to this. This is cancer. It's sheets of cancer, or what doctors refer to as nests of cancer.
Doctors say IBC almost never presents with a lump. This is what an inflammatory breast can look like. The cancer clogs breast tissue vessels.
If I had heard of it prior, then, I probably would have been more suspect that it was something else wrong, rather than just being young and dumb.
Christine was just 37 when she was diagnosed with IBC, 3 years away from the recommended age to start mammograms. Patty Bradfield can never forget the day her daughter Christine told her.
I have the kind that I'm going to die.
Patty had never heard of IBC either.
Ignorance is causing death. My name's Patty, and
Patty is determined to warn every woman she meets.
Have you heard of inflammatory breast cancer? I'm not trying to sell anything. My daughter has stage 4, and I'm trying to alert women.
On this Kirkland Street corner, she stopped 46 people. 42 never heard of IBC.
I've never even heard of it. The interesting thing is that most women have never heard of inflammatory breast cancer, and most physicians heard about it in medical school but have never seen a case.
Nancy thought her IBC was a spider bite. Marilyn's doctor told her she had a bug bite on her breast and prescribed antibiotics. By the time Marilyn was diagnosed, she was stage 4. The cancer was everywhere.
I'd actually never dealt with stages of cancer. I didn't know there wasn't a stage 5.
Andy was just 16 when she died from IBC. She was too embarrassed to tell her mother her breast looked funny. It was slightly enlarged and her nipple inverted like this. Classic IBC symptoms. The most common symptoms include rapid increase in breast size, redness, skin hot to the touch, persistent itching, thickening of breast tissue, and severe pain.
It's important to understand your breasts, and nobody knows your own breasts better than you.
We need to get the same message out, but we need to emphasize a different part of it.
Lynn Hagerman runs the local chapter of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, a leader in breast cancer awareness. The Komen Foundation and the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Research Foundation says more than 6% of all breast cancer is IBC. The American Cancer Society says it's closer to 1 to 4%. But Hagerman admits, with all the emphasis they put on looking for a lump, inflammatory breast cancer patients don't get enough warning. In fact, it's hard to find information on IBC on the Komen website. Because of our report, Komen is changing its website.
I'm really glad that you're raising the question.
But IBC survivors tell me it's not enough. When they were diagnosed, they called cancer centers and could not get help. So back in May, when I did this report, I called 4 cancer helplines. 3 out of 4 didn't know about IBC.
It stands for inflammatory breast cancer. 3 separate words.
Even when I spelled it out, they still didn't know.
And I just want to make sure I've called the resource desk at the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance. Is that right? Okay.
When her own helpline didn't know, that shocked Dr. Graylow.
Wow. Which means that we have education of our own staff to do.
Up next, the stories of 2 local women, both healthy and fit. They thought they had a bug bite, but it was cancer, not a spider.